last class we have discussed about how k-means algorithm works and like how it will be able to cluster between different set of points, right? But in this k-means clustering, there are few disadvantages. Let me talk about disadvantages of k-means, and then let's go further for other algorithms. Okay, so maybe like this here. Okay, so so why k-means is not enough? So this is first thing which we'll be discussing. So why do you think k-means has a problem? Okay. So first drawback with k-means is there in the first step itself. So we have to define number of clusters, right? So we have to give in advance, like before starting the learning, that like uh, just a moment. Okay. So if you see this scheme, like what we have seen is first step is we have to define our own clusters, clusters, like number of clusters before starting, right? So how would we know, like should it be like two clusters or three clusters? In case if we can plot it, then we will be able to know. Maybe like in this case, like there are three clusters. If it is only two, it can be like two clusters like that, right? So, but main challenge with the higher dimensional data, like in real-time data, is like it won't be like two-dimensional or three-dimensional to plot it. It can go to 10-dimensional as well, or maybe 100-dimensional. It doesn't matter. Like it can be anything. So for that purpose, like that kind of condition, you can't plot it and visualize and say, oh, this can be like three clusters, this can be two clusters and all, right? So that is one major disadvantage. Number of clusters need to be decided in advance. Okay, this is one major drawback with k-means. So, and one more thing is like it can't detect all kinds of patterns. Like let me detect various patterns. Let me show an example. So let us say our data is something like this, and like this. So what do you think like k-means would cluster? Like how actually like leave k-means, how you will cluster these data, this data. So let us say this is the data which you have plotting. So how what do you think like will be a better pattern to separate between these two? Okay, so one thing what you can say is like this is one cluster and the outer shell is one more cluster, right? The outer one is there, right? So that is cluster one, and this can be. Hello.
Visraj,
Yeah. So do you agree with this? So
yeah,
like outer shell circle can be one cluster and inner shell can be one cluster,
correct.
right? So but what actually k-means will give is, so what we can see from this is like when in case we give the same data to k-means, it will give something like this. So let me draw the thing. Okay, so it would take something like this as one cluster and something here. Okay, both, it won't leave out something. So this is cluster two. Okay, because what it will try to do is it will try to find a center in between, and for this center, like it will see which is the nearest point, and similarly it will find a center somewhere here, and for it again it will find what are closer points to this than this, like it will belong to this cluster, right? Something like this, or maybe it can also be like here and here. this is also like it can also be possible, something like this. Like the upper half will be in one cluster and the lower half will be in another cluster. So this is also possible. So these kind of act like, but when you see this graph, like you are actually assuming some different kind of cluster, right? So it can you are thinking like it's some kind of shape it should be able to group as one kind of cluster. But it was not doing that way. It's following like a distance-based approach, and it is making like what are near to it, like it is making as one cluster. So mainly for this particular case scenario, to identify a kind of patterns or different various shapes, like you want such kind of detection. So you will go like there is an option. You go for density-based clustering approach. So one major such algorithm is DBScan. So we'll look into DBScan now. And before that, let me also address this first problem. So if you don't know like number of clusters in advance, how will you actually do it? So what you do is you take an iteration like initially, let's take number of clusters equal to 2, and then you do the clustering. So and there is one score called like Tillichet score. Let me, I don't know if I have pronounced it correctly. Let me show something on that. Just a moment. So K means score. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't exactly remember the name, but anyway, we got. So there is one kind of a measure, like just like how we have accuracy and other things for supervised learning problems, right? Here you don't know if like cluster one belongs to one, or like the first class label class one and cluster two belongs to class two. We don't know such metrics, right? Because we don't have the ground truth annotated data for it. We just have X, not Y. So then there is a measure which we call it Tillichet, which actually studies the separation distance between two clusters. Okay, so you can look into these analysis how actually it has done. You can read in Wikipedia as well, like so there will be information available. So what it basically does is like how are these clusters, are these well separated or not? It will give a score. Okay, so based on that score, we will actually what we do is like we'll actually identify if this particular separation clustering is doing well or not. Okay, so what we have to do is initially we will start with two clusters. Okay, let's go to this thing. So initially we will start with two clusters. Okay, you can see this example. So there are few points here and few points here. This entire thing is made as one cluster, and this is made as one cluster. So this is basically this separating well. But when you go for one more thing, so when you go for three clusters, again, like see, this has become one cluster, this has become one cluster, and this has become one cluster, right? So, and for each of these kind of clustering, this kilohit, I think, kilohit score will actually be different, right? So it will look into things such that like all this kilohit score is like higher. Okay, so what they have done is first initially they will do with like two clusters, and they will find the kilohit score. Similarly for three clusters, four clusters, and finally identify where the score is higher. So they will proceed with those number of clusters. So that is how usually they will address this kind of problem. So finally, so this is all just plotting of all those these curves. Like you can refer this code, then you will get these kind of plotting. So they actually look for these score where the score is higher. So they will select that number of clusters. Okay, so that is one way. And okay, so apart from this, let me. There is also elbow method. Let me show that here itself. Same elbow method. So what this actually does is this is one more kind of scenario. So mostly people use this first, other than physics. This is more popular method. So what they do is they will actually, for each number of clusters, means like same way just I told, right? Initially they will run k-means with two clusters, then with three clusters, similarly four clusters. They will keep on increasing it, and they will try to plot a error, again a error mechanism. So let me see that like what exactly is an error. So distortion, okay. So what is that distortion here is inertia. Just a moment. Yes. Uh, what we do is we will calculate the error. Like error is sum of squares of distances from each point to its attained cluster. So it is basically similar to our root mean square error, but instead of all, what it will do is for this cluster. So all these points like distance with this cluster. So this with this cluster, this is all these like sum of square. Similarly, for this cluster, all these points like which belongs to this cluster, they will calculate distance from center to that cluster, and they will compute a score. Okay, so that is our error score. So they will take this error score, plot between various number of clusters. So if you can see, like initially if it is cluster one, it will be higher. So slowly when number of clusters increases, this number of this score error will decrease. Okay, so it starts decreasing always. Like this will be the pattern for every scenario. This won't increase like just like last term. So what happens is, as there are very less number of more clusters, your error will decrease. Okay, but thing is like you can't just keep like saying like 100 clusters or something like that. Okay, so what you should be doing is, instead of going for, you should see the bend. So yeah, exactly after what point it is flattening. Okay, you can see after three, it started to like the slope of the line like is decreasing and it is somewhat going horizontal, right? So mostly after four as well, if you can see after four, it is almost like flat. After three as well, like it does not change like from 3 to 4 months. So what we can say is we can take this. So this curve looks like elbow, right? Like you can, it's like your hand like being stretched like this. So your shoulder and this is your hand. Okay, so that's why this is your elbow, right? So that's why this method is called elbow method. So where you have to find that exact point after which it's taking a horizontal step. Okay, so in this particular class, it is a number of clusters that we can take as three, after which it doesn't, your error doesn't significantly vary much. Okay, so number of clusters three can be ideal, much optimal for this particular case. Okay, so this is one more way where we'll find it. So now let me go back to our notes and continue. Okay, so this is how like using now this method is solved, right? So this disadvantage we are able to solve it by doing elbow method, or still I don't, I can't still EU see something method. So like these two can be a comparison. Mostly this is much popular method where you will look for that particular bend, sum of squares of distance versus number of clusters. So we will look for that particular this one, and we'll look for this number of clusters. Okay. So this is about a k-means. And apart from this, there is one more. No. Okay. So after this, now what we should be doing is, now the k-means, like we saw this challenge, right? That it can't identify patterns and all. And yeah, and one more thing is, there is something like this. Okay, it is not robust to noise. So basically in data science, like how noise, you can treat noise as some kind of misinterpreted data. So something like how maybe while entering the data, collecting the data, there are some errors because of which, like instead of all the ranges are in hundred, tens, and like this one, and some value is in 1 lakh. So such kind of abnormal things are there, right? So those can be a kind of noise. So similarly, there can be many other ways as well. That is one scenario. So let me talk about that scenario. Let us say your data points are like this, okay? And one more. So what you can say is, like, let us say if it is three clusters, you will make this as one, make this as one, make this as one, right? So okay, you will also, you will not leave anything. So this is how you will be doing. So, but what happened is, because of some data collection issues and all, like you had some noise where you collected data. There are few data points like this, and number of clusters. And what you will be having is like because you observe this physics for and like elbow method, from that you will find this as different cluster, this as different, this is, and like we'll have like cluster number 6 as a better score. But really, is it really that? No, right? And okay, like you think that like this is irrelevant, and then what you do is, like maybe you pick with like three clusters, and then instead of clustering this way, what will happen is this will also get impacted, right? Because for each center, we are calculating how is it far, or this is far, or this is far. So your center actually will shift this way, because it will be average of all your points, right? So your center will be like this, like something like this, and your center value will shift from this to this. Like earlier, your center value is perfect, right? If you can see, your center value will be somewhere in this cluster. In this cluster, if you take this thing, right, so your center value will be here, here, here for your cluster, right? But now it has shifted significantly. So that is mainly because of noise, which is an irrelevant data. So we have to do some cleaning before data cleaning, and remove such kind of noise data before we actually do the clustering, right? So this is one issue. So apart from this, what like this is like not so robust about noise. That is what we can say from this, right? So what we'll be doing is, we'll go for like to address all these challenges. There we'll go for one more clustering method, which is like DB scan. So DB scan will actually address all these problems. Here, first thing, no need to give number of clusters. Second one, it is robust to noise. Third is like, what is one more thing? Yes, it can detect patterns or shapes. Okay, so how cool it is, like we are actually like compensating all disadvantages of k-means here. So is it really true? Like let's see how it will actually give it. Okay, so basically, how does DB scan work is like, instead of going for a cluster center, because like first thing is, we don't have to give number of cluster centers, so we can't initially do randomly cluster center and calculate the distance between them, right? So instead of that, what it will try to do is, so it will try to look if let me talk with an example here. So you have some data here. Okay, so and there is some data here. So this actually K-means will also do good. But let me start with this. So here what it will try to do is, for each data point. So let me take this data point. So it will we like there are two things like this we have to give, like minimum number of points. Let me talk about input parameter, which we have to specify. Like previously we are specifying number of clusters, right? Here we have to say minimum number of neighborhood points, and we have to specify minimum distance. Okay, so what actually this is, let me show you. So let me say like there is one point here. Okay, so this minimum distance is something like this. So at this distance, at this radius, it will this is a distance. Okay, let's say this distance is r. So this is the distance. It will see how many number of points are there within that distance. Okay, because your distance can be this way, this way, this way, right? So within that distance, how many points you can have. So it will see that. Okay, so if these number of points are like matching like minimum number of points, let's say I give like it should be like minimum 10 points should be there within that range, then that is one parameter which I have given. Okay, and one more thing which I have given is like within like distance of r, maybe let's say two units or 3 units. Okay, something like that. So if we can give it like this, so if there are like more than 10 points here, so like we consider all these belongs to same cluster. It's like all these points which were within that radius, we uh, we say that like they belong to same point. Okay, so sorry, same cluster. So and similarly, next, okay, now for this point is done. So next we'll go for the next point. So now this is done. Next I'll go for this point. From here again I'll draw one circle like this with the radius r, and then see if there are any points within that circle, and say that like this also belongs to same cluster what this is there. Okay, so likewise we will actually like iterate among each and every point. Okay, but let me do for this scenario. For this I have kept a kind of circle here, and in this circle only this point is there. Okay, let me put like minimum number of points. There should be more, like we have to increase the. Okay, let me draw one more. Okay, maybe this itself is like better to extend it. So all these, like I'm saying, like same cluster, right? So similarly, let's say like there are few more points like here. So if you go here, all, like what it will do is like all these, like next for this particular case, like again there will be a circle, and all these will belong to same cluster. See, but like none of these circles will include any points like this, right? So from here, because these are very far and not within the reach of this circle. So what will happen is for these points, so again we'll iterate about these points, right? So here again I will check like what are within this circle. So I'll find these. So similarly for this, I again find these. So I'll again find these. So like this, what will happen is this will form one more cluster. So similarly, now what we have done, like we have iterated each point we have checked, and then form if there are number of clusters. Okay. So now did we find it like if you can see, we did not give any number of clusters, but we are able to find these belongs to two clusters. Okay, and is it robust to noise? Let's see that as well. So let's say you have one more point here. Okay, and like from here, and let me, there is one more point here, one more point here. So these are like noise, right? All your points are in one place, and just like 1 2 points are far. Okay, from here let me again draw the circle and see here. Okay. So if you see here in the radius 10, like what I have given. So are there any points? No points, right? But what I told is minimum your neighbor should contain 10 points. So but nothing is there over there. So it means this doesn't form a cluster at all. If this doesn't belong to any cluster, it will get ignored. Similarly for this. So it does it contain anything? Maybe let's say there are two. Okay, but these two, but we need at least 10 points in your circle. So this does not belong to any point. So this will also be ignored. So so likewise, this is robust to noise, right? So we are eliminating noise. Eliminated means like actually not eliminated. Eliminated is the wrong word. Noise is ignored. Okay, this and this as well. Okay, so this is what now this is clear and this is clear. So how it will identify shapes? Let's see that. Okay, so for that case, okay, let's take the same example which we have showed that. Okay, let me draw here. Okay, so taking this, let me start with one point here. So I draw a circle, and I could find a neighbor point, right? So within the circle, so there are neighborhood points. All these belong to same circle. So similarly, I draw one more here. One. Okay, let me draw it from that. So similarly here and for this. So all these will actually having some neighbor points, right? So all these will belong to same cluster. Okay. So what will happen is all these points will be cluster one. So similarly, what will happen is when you are looking at these points, so this belongs to one cluster, this belongs to one cluster, this. So all these like because like there is no kind of like these points which were in inner circle does not fall under this like within that distance, right? So that fall doesn't fall in the same category. So now like this will be cluster. This will be cluster, right? So DB scan is actually able to identify between two different identify shapes. So there is one more popular example, like so you have data points like this, and there is one more data. This is one famous example for DB scan. So what they look into. So in this case, let's see, like if it is K means what will happen is this will be one and this will be one, right? So but when you take DB scan, what will happen is so all these will belong to one cluster and all these will belong to second cluster. So this happens with DB scan, but not in. So okay, this is about DB scan. In the next session, we'll implement both of them and see how it is going on. But one thing is like it doesn't mean K-means is bad and you don't use it. You will use K mostly like it both can be used like initially K-means is more popularly used like, compared to DB scan, but it depends on your use case scenario, and see like how flexible it is. Like, and maybe what people do is like they will try both and see like which one is doing better and take that. So that is one more way, like because you don't know which model is doing well, right? Like it again depends on your data and how it is performing, how it is looking. So what you do is you don't stick with one single algorithm. You will try multiple and take the one which is performing better. Okay. So that is what about like DB scan and k-means. In the next class, let's continue implementing it and then and see like how it performs. Okay. So any doubts? Okay. Okay, then good. So actually, here why we told like DB scan is, so here what it is seeing, like it is looking for the density within that region, right? So if more are concentrated at one place, like that is taken as one cluster. So this is basically the density within that range. Like what density is, like it is mass by volume in like this sense. Like, but when it comes to here, when more is getting concentrated at one point, we can take that as a kind of a density, right? So more population staying at one point, we say like it is more denser, right? Similarly, like it is looking for that density here, because like you are looking for certain distance and see like if there are more than minimum number of samples, then we take it as this, right? So, and one more critical important thing is, for this we are giving these two parameters, right? So these two are very critical. So if you give this larger distance, right? So for the same case, let me do a thing, or maybe that inner circle example is also good. So let me do that inner circle example. So let me take one name, and you gave like very large minimum distance, right? So what will happen is your circle will be larger. So when your circle is larger, then what will happen? All your points will belong to same cluster, right? So finally, what you get is only one cluster. You don't get something like this. So again, this is one more thing. What you should do is you have to appropriately select this minimum distance as well as this minimum number of neighborhood points. So these should be selected appropriately. You should be cautious while selecting. So and finally you get like this. Okay. So again, what you do is like you don't go with one fixed value. You will experiment with various values of these two and see which is performing better, and you will stick with those values. Okay. So that is how these are done. So